Hey guys, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Do you like my setup? I love it. I absolutely love it. Today we're going to talk about how you can apply for a US visiting visa. And guess what? They give you 5 years. US visiting visa from the UK. This is from a perspective of an international student, but if you're working here and you're international that moved here just recently, this video will also be very helpful to you. So sit back, relax, and we're going into step-by-step process for applying for a US visiting visa. And after this video, I can bet you will not need any other video. It's going to be so comprehensive. So save it and send it to your friends because it's going to be very helpful. Thank you. So before we go into talking about what happens in the visa office, how the interview goes, I want you to take a moment to subscribe to the channel. This is very important to me because one of my goals this year is to increase my subscriber count and help as much people as I can. So I'll give you a moment to subscribe down there. Thank you. We can continue. So before we go into it, I kind of like the setup, but I want us to get a bit close and intimate, so go into a different setting. Now let's get into it. This is a lot more comfortable. The first thing you need to note that the type of visa you're applying for is the B2 visa. That's the visitor's visa. Now, if you're trying to go to the US to study, you're going to be applying for an F1 visa. It's a very different visa. So the B2 visa is for tourism, it's for visiting your family, it's for medical treatment, and these are the three things that it covers. Now, let's go to the eligibility criteria. The thing you need to show to the visa officer is that, 1, you are not a potential immigrant. That is, you're going to visit the US for the thing you're going to visit the US for, and you're going to return back to your home country. That's the country you're applying from. Now, how do you do this? It's called the push and the pull factor. You need to find all those factors in your home country that looks like, okay, this is impossible for me to leave because it's so good that I don't want to leave this situation. Those kind of things are your job, your family, if you have a house here, if you have very strong ties, we call them ties to the home country where you're applying from. Now, similarly in the US, you don't need serious ties in the US. If, for example, you have your entire family in the US, you need to prove to them that you're not going to join your family, stay back, and overstay your visa. So that's all you need to do. Show them that, okay, I am who I am, I'm going to the US to visit, and I'm going to come back to my home country when I'm done visiting. Another thing you need to note beyond proving all of this is to prove that you are financially sufficient to handle this travel. You cannot be earning something very little and have very little in your account, like £1,000, and you're planning a 2 weeks vacation to New York. That doesn't make any sense, does it? That's what the visa officer is looking at. So you need to create a travel itinerary that fits into your lifestyle. Say you earn a lot of money and you're a big boy, you got 50K in your account and you're booking a hostel in New York City for $200 for 4 days. That story does not exactly match up. Or say you earn very little and you're booking a 5-star hotel, you're going to stay there for 2 days. That story does not exactly match up. So these are the things that they look at that people don't pay a lot of attention to. I have to state here that before you embark on applying for a visa, you have to ask yourself, do I have this amount I want to prove? Do I have it in my account now? Have I had it in the last 3 months, 3 to 6 months? If you have not, you have to start from there. You have to save the money first before you start applying for a visa, because you need to prove that you have this money in your account, not in an investment. This money has to be disposable in a single account, not in a combination of accounts. So you have to have this money in that account for 3 to 6 months before you decide to apply for your visa. So the next thing is the documents that you need. So I'm just going to list them out, the basic documents, and while I'm listing them, I'm going to give you extra documents that supports your claim. So they're not necessarily requested, but they are documents that you have to pull your story together. So the first document you need, this one is a standard requirement, is your passport, your international passport. We call it official passport. If you have, if you're from Nigeria or West Africa, it's usually green. And because you're applying from the UK, it doesn't mean that you're a UK citizen. So you have to be a citizen of some country. So you have your passport, put it together. And if you're living in a different country, you're not applying from your home country, like if you're not applying from Nigeria or Ghana, you have to prove that you are in that country you're applying from legally. And how you prove this is your visa. For those of you in the UK, you need the biometric residence permit. That's the BRP. And more recently, 2025 onwards, there is something we call the e-visa. So right now, we use the BRP in addition to the e-visa. So you put your BRP down, and then you also go online. I'll put the link below on how to prove your immigration status. Go online and generate a share code and print out the page that share code was given to you, and put that with your application. This proves that you're in this country legally, and these are the things that you're allowed to do while you're in this country legally. So the next thing you need is the DS-160 form. This form is very important. It's the first introduction to you that the visa officer have. So you have to take your time and fill it, and take a lot of time to read and reread it. Because if you make any mistake, they don't know that you've made a mistake. And that's how they base their initial decision. The third document you need is the visa appointment confirmation email that you received when you book an appointment. The next thing you need is a passport size photograph. Now, this is different from the one you submit for applying for a Schengen visa or any other visas. So that I'll put the link below for the website to find the requirements for that particular passport. It has to have a white background, and your face have to have certain dimension. Most of these photo booths that you find in train stations and malls usually have an option. They will ask you want to apply for certain visas. You click the US one, you print those and attach it to your application form. The next thing you need, that's the next document you need, is your bank statement. Like I said, you have to prove that you've had a certain amount of money that is not specified, between 3 to 6 months, and you had this amount of money in your account. Now, since they did not specify it, so you have to think about the living expenses or the tourist expenses. So living expenses is different from tourism expenses. A tourist will spend a lot more than somebody that's resident in a certain place. So you have to calculate that amount and then add a lot of buffer to that amount. So if you're traveling as a visitor, like an average spender, mid to low budget spending, and you're going to the US for like 2 weeks, I would recommend having something close to 4,000 and 5,000 pounds in your account. And you have to print this from the branch and not online bank statement. Also, there's a chance that you may be invited by somebody from the US and you're not sponsoring your own trip. In this situation, you need them to send a proof of financial solvency to be able to sponsor you. So they will send their own bank statement, their passport, and an invitation letter. If you're a student, you also need a letter confirming that you are a student. You also need that letter to show your term time and the times that you are on holiday for. It's advisable to apply for the period that you're on holiday. That way you don't need to get a letter from your uni that you are allowed to go and travel to the US and come back. But if you're going to travel during term time, you need a letter from the uni stating that, okay, you're a student there and you've been granted leave to travel to the US and return. And if you are a worker, you need to prove that, okay, I've got an employment contract from this company that I work with, and show them payslip for the last 3 months that you've received from this company. Sometimes some people go ahead and get an extra letter stating that, okay, they're allowed to go on leave and they're going to return, but in my experience, I've not been asked that, and I've not met a lot of people that have been asked that before. But a payslip and a contract should suffice. The next thing that you need is the proof that you've paid for the delivery of your passport. So when you are approved, we're hoping that you get approved, you get your passport in the mail, and you have to pay for that prior to the interview. So you need to print that out and add it to your documents, because they're going to ask for it after you've been approved. These remaining documents are not necessary. They didn't ask for it. Some people go as far as booking accommodation, which I highly recommend. If you're not going to visit somebody in the US, you book your accommodation and show them that this is where I'm going to stay. It is booked, and this is the contact details of people that are going to host me. So the main one I would recommend using. This is not a sponsored video, even though I like to be sponsored. Tag them. I use bookings.com a lot. You can go to bookings.com. I can show you how to do it in a video anywhere. Go to bookings.com. Look for accommodation in the city or cities you would like to visit. Put the dates, like the period you like to visit, and put the type of accommodation that you like. Hostels are very cheap, but you share a general space with people. Hotels are okay. You can always adjust the price range that you want, but the two most important thing you need to put is no prepayment and free cancellation, because that way no money leaves your account. Because we know plans usually change. You may decide to stay in a different place. You may decide to, we don't know what may happen. But make sure you book something that is within your price range, something that you're comfortable with, and toggle the options that says no prepayment and free cancellation. And then those are the details you're going to use and fill your DS-160 form. For some people, this is in rare occasions. If you have a house, you just put like a document stating that, okay, I have a house. That's a very big, strong tie. Because there's no way I'm going to go to another country and not return to my home country if I have mortgage to pay and I have a house of my own. Now, this is very important to note. If you're applying for a Schengen visa, you'll be required to book a flight before application. But that's not the case for the US. You're not required to book any flight whatsoever, which is good news. You get to save your money. So to schedule your appointment, you have to schedule it on time, because sometimes, especially in London, you could wait as long as 6 months before getting a date for interview. So make sure like you check beforehand. If you can travel to a different city, I would recommend traveling to a different city. So if you're going to do it in London, try to do it on time, like book it. You can always reschedule if you can't make it. There's an opportunity to go back to the website to reschedule. So book it on time. And I recommend checking for availability of dates before booking your accommodation or any other thing. Because you can book for accommodation for, say, in February, and you say, okay, I'm going to book an accommodation for March, and then you eventually book that, and you go to check for dates and realize that there's no date at all in March. So there's no way you're going to stand in front of a visa officer and say, okay, I'm traveling in March, when you're standing in front of them in April. That doesn't make any sense. So decide, check for available dates. Don't book it yet. Go and put your application together, come back and then book it. You find below the form to book your appointment, and they will ask you a couple of questions in that form. Try and answer these questions honestly, because there's very easy ways for them to find out who is lying and who is not, and this is grounds for rejection. We're gonna see. I'm gonna be 100% transparent. I'm going to work. Time I've gone. So you see the effort I'm putting in for you guys. This is why you should subscribe to my channel. Thank you. But see you in a bit. For you to be a bit, so there you have it. That's the process. That's the documents. That's the questions. If you are serious about going to the US and you follow all of these things to the T, I can almost guarantee that you get your visas. But then again, put prayers forefront of everything you do. Sometimes people still cross their T's and dot their I's and still get rejected. But don't be sad about it, because you can always try again. It's just visiting a different country. So if you really want to learn more about my experiences in details, what I went through and everything, please click the link below and we can have a session one-on-one where you can ask me anything about my experiences and I'll share with you. And if you have any tips or anybody, you can put them on a comment section below and just engage with people, share your experiences as well. It's a community down there, and I would appreciate if you do that. And do like, subscribe to my channel again. And what else? Yes, happy travels. Enjoy your stay in whatever city you decide to visit in the US. And for those of you that haven't gotten your visas yet, good luck with that.